Baby, welcome back to another episode of Singing the Tea. I'm your host, Dustin, singer, actor Lewis. Sometimes I sing, sometimes I give you all of the reality TV tea, but it's absolutely what you want and it's definitely what you need. And baby, we're going to talk about these Married to Medicine. Baby, when I tell you, I'm not saying it's the best reality TV show on Bravo for no reason. It's because it is. And this reunion proved that. Like when I tell you, we only one part in, and these ladies are showing out, and the fellas really had it going on. Baby, they really had it going on. But baby, before we talk about it, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share the family members, share with our friends so we can grow our community over here, and hit the notification bell button so when I do drop new content, you will be the first to know. But let's get into it. Let's get into it. Y'all, this reunion episode gave me everything I needed and more. Like when I tell you, it was so doggone good. Now, we're not going to talk about the reunion looks too much because I already did a recap on that. Go check that out. I might post a little picture of it here so you know what it looked like. But overall, it's great. It's great. Like, the reunion looks good. If I had to pick somebody who was the best one, best dressed, Jackie. Jackie did that for me. Jackie did it for me. Now, that's just me. But everybody looked good. You know, I would say Jackie, Toya, Angel, Quad, Simone looked good. Everybody looked really, really great. But anyway, let's talk about it. But child, you know, the ladies are arriving. And one thing I need to say, I didn't care for their reunion look too much. But they arrival look was definitely a chop. I don't know what Brandy had on. Baby, Brandy, what did you have on, girl? And listen, I know you probably looking at what I got on right now. I probably say, Dustin, what do you got on? Baby, I don't know. I'm workshopping this shirt. I found this in my room. I forgot I ordered it. And I said, let me see what this, girl, this is. It won't be worn no more. I just ain't feel like changing. But Brandy, you looked at, it was too much. It was too much. Like, Brandy actually seems like she's a real cool, fun girl, but I did not like that reunion show up look. But Quad and Angel with them furs, y'all did that. Absolutely. So, we see Simone and Jackie, they are not sharing a dressing room for the first time ever, right? That they haven't shared a dressing room because they always typically get dressed together. Maybe one other season they didn't, but they typically always do. And you know, Simone, she was like, listen, Jackie wasn't there supporting me when she was on Watch What Happens Live. I didn't agree with her thoughts and what she said. So Simone was like, I just wanted some space to myself, you know, until she figures out what side she wants to be on. Then me and her, we can reconvene. And we definitely going to talk about it, but I hate where these two ladies are. And we're going to talk about it. So, we make it to the couch. And we see Toya and Quad are the first chairs. Typically with the Married to Medicine group, it is DrJackie and DrHeavenly are typically the first chairs, but they switched it up this go round. Quad and Toya are OGs. They are first season, so why not? They could be in the first seats. Why not? And honestly, too, since Jackie and Dr. Simone aren't on like the best page right now, no, y'all can get bumped down one because y'all need to get this together. We need to get this whole little thing together. And Dr. Simone be hollering too much. So Andy should have put her down the street. Because he still would have been able to hear it anyway. But yeah. So, you know, we are getting into the first package that we get into is going to be Toya. So it's Toya's package. And baby, when they started talking about that home, listen, Toya, you know we got to give it to you. When it comes to you in these houses, we got to give you a little piece because one thing about y'all going to change houses like y'all change drawers. Y'all keep y'all a new house. Don't get me wrong, each one is more beautiful than the next. But us asking, or whoever it was that asked the question like, hey, how long do you plan on staying in this one? Or do you think that you're going to stay in this house? Don't sit up here and look like, we ain't never said that y'all ain't never paid for one. That was never the issue. Y'all just couldn't keep them. That was the issue. So that was the thing, Toya. Ain't nobody mad about that. We just got to say, you know, you don't live to every house in Atlanta but Chateau Charay at this point. So, girl, ain't no houses left but the one that you built. But it's a beautiful home nonetheless. Now, when they were asking the question and Heavenly was like, oh, yeah, I can see her selling this house and, you know, her going and getting her a little condo high-rise by herself. I caught that shade. Nobody else. Listen, Quad called it too, because Quad was like, well, I'm sure you mean with her husband. And Heavenly's like, oh, did I say that? Heavenly, you know what you did. Baby, when I said when Heavenly did that, I said, oh, the girls are out to get into it. They getting into it, this reunion, and I'm here for it. Baby, Heavenly meant what she said, and she said what she meant. And Heavenly, you open that gate for this girl. Toy was over there saying, I'm going to keep it cute as long as they keep it cute. But Heavenly got it started, so she had to jump on into it. I hope y'all ready, because this might be the longest review I done ever did. Baby, because there was so much going on. We definitely got to talk about it. Watch the full review. Because some of y'all don't be watching the full thing, and they be telling me, watch the full thing. Okay, let's get back to it. So, nonetheless, when it comes to Toya in the house, Toya's going to keep a beautiful home. Toya's going to keep a house that is immaculate. That girl knows how to put together a home. You got to give it to Toya when it comes to that. And Simone tried to give her props too, because she was like, when we went to Toya's, a day off work day, because she don't work, and she put it together. It was great. Her house was beautiful. It was clean. It was everything that was meant to be. No one would tell her that she needs to pressure wash it. I said, girl, when I tell you I was gobbling it up, y'all do not know. I'm going to have to go back and post like me watching it in real time, because I do have some videos. Baby, when I tell you, they was out for blood, and I was here for it, baby. Quad even was like, not the pressure wash. Baby, when I tell you, I don't think Heavenly was ready for that, because Heavenly is not a reader like that. She just go low. Simone, you brought it. Simone was ready for her this week. Simone said, I'm tired. She said, play Kelly Price, Tired of the Way. Baby, she said, I'm tired of the way she treats me. Tired of the ghetto drama, honey. She is ready, and she's tired of everything. And I was here for Miss Dog on Simone when she did that about that pressure washing. You was all right with me. So, they're asking Toya about her relationships, and she said, about her relationship, excuse me. And I do agree that Toya's like, listen, everybody wants to talk about my relationship and what we do and what we don't do, but they don't want me to talk about theirs. And Toya, I'm going to say this. The way you treat him is the reason that we talk about you and Eugene. Because it does come off like Eugene is your lapdog sometimes. But I'm going to say this, though. It works for y'all. It works for y'all. Like, it's one of those no one can get mad at it, because if Eugene is in it for this long and he's cool with it, then we got to be cool with it too, y'all. Like, it ain't no need for us to go back and forth with Toya and how she treat her man. He like it. I love it. She love it. I like it. So we're going to keep on moving with it. But one thing I will say, Toya, when you were saying, like, people don't want me to open the book on their relationships, I did not like the comment that you made about my husband doesn't have to worry about me watching our son. I feel like, and I could be wrong, and when I tell you, I hope I'm wrong, and I'm okay with being wrong, because it felt like you were saying that about Mimi. And Toya, if you did, for you, that was wrong. Like, Toya, if you said that about that girl, I don't see Steve saying that. And if he did say it, he definitely ain't say it to Eugene. But, and then for Heavenly, I don't know. Like, maybe it was for Heavenly. I don't know. It was a very, like, I was not expecting that comment. It seemed like it was for me, but I'm thinking maybe it was for Heavenly. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. So that just wasn't cool for me, Toya. But overall, you were doing the doggone thing, this reunion. And, she was saying not wanting to go back and forth. When the ladies was like, no, we can do it. We can go back and forth. Heavenly started going into it. Heavenly was like, you don't want me to talk about your husband and why he didn't allegedly work at the hospital anymore or all that good stuff. And then Toya was like, well, my neighbor knows about Damon. Baby, in the words of Mariah Huff, do I need to bring the receipts, baby girl? If you're not bringing the receipts, let's be done. I'm tired. If we're not bringing no receipts, let's be done. But what I was shocked when DrJackie had said, well, Toya, you have spoke on my marriage. Now, Jackie, girl, you over there looking fancy, footloose, and free, and that lovely. You had to let Curtis know. Curtis was supposed to love you, girl. And Jackie, I was nervous when you spoke up, because I was like, Jackie don't normally do this. Jackie don't normally do this with the girls. But Jackie was like, Toya, you spoke on my marriage. And Toya was like, well, I didn't bring up anything that you didn't open up first. Jackie really technically didn't really talk about her marriage. It just was out there about what happened, what Curtis did, right? And I'm not excusing Curtis, but Toya, I will say, when you was on Watch What Happens Live and you made that comment about Curtis, I get that they asked you a question, you just didn't have to comment on it. It was unnecessary because the way you implied it, and don't get me wrong, Curtis had his infidelity. I don't know if Curtis has had more. It's not my business. But if they see it, we're going to talk about it on the show. But you made it seem like he just out here touching on everybody. And it was a little just off-colored. Like, I think that you were trying to be funny and, like, make a moment out of it. It just wasn't cool to do that at your friend's expense. That's all I'm saying. But Jackie is a regular girl like everybody else, so y'all can give it to her too. But I just didn't feel like that was cool. Like, you could have handled that a little bit differently. And honestly, when it comes to like Toya and Eugene, Toya is like the mouthpiece for them, and Curtis is more so the mouthpiece for their side. So when Jackie says something, it's a little like, oh snap. Jackie typically doesn't say anything, so you know that bothered her when Toya made a comment. So there's that. So then, they're asking Toya about how she spoke to Eugene at their house party that they had. So they get into that piece of it. And she gets emotional when she acknowledges that she did handle that situation wrong, because Toya did. I'm glad she acknowledged it. And I think that what Toya wanted, and she says this, she wished that the ladies would have handled her differently. Instead of it being like catty, just messy on the side, she wanted her girls to pull her aside and be like, hey y'all, or hey Toya, do it a different way. Just do it a different way, girl. Like, you ain't have to do it like that. It seemed like you trying to embarrass your husband, and that wasn't the time to do it. Like, it just wasn't. You were doing too much. And Contessa was saying that, she feels like they could have been a better friend group. And like, when that happened, everybody should have just left. I can kind of disagree with that. I get where she was coming from. Like, I don't think it's a bad idea, but like, I mean, y'all on a reality TV show. Like, hey girl, like, come on, chill out. Like, you doing too much. With Toya, some of the ladies did kind of try to tell you that. Mimi did. They roll the cameras and we see her try to tell you that. But you, Toya, when you get in those moments, no one can calm you down. Like, you are very similar to Dr. Simone in that manner. When you are like you're in that heightened level of just like emotion. It is sometimes really difficult to talk you off the ledge when you come to certain stuff. So I can see why some of the ladies was like, girl, it wasn't nothing for us to do in that moment. But it's good to see that you acknowledge that Quad and Contessa were in, your, I'm gonna say wardrobe, in your closet with your cherry blossom talking you down off the tree, girl. They were talking you down. But, hold on, wait, I got lost. Heavenly and Mimi. So Heavenly and Mimi, they disagree with some of the things that Toya was saying. I mean, cool. Y'all can disagree, but I will say this though. Mimi, you do have to own your part. Now, Mimi, I do think that you were trying to pour into Toya a little bit, but you were nice nasty when you were doing it, and you were being shady, girl. Like, you saying Toya was cringe and all of this stuff, you wasn't saying that to uplift and be positive. And I like you, Mimi, but you know that you were being shady when you do it. And that's the thing when it comes to Mimi. Mimi, just stand in your shadiness. The world will appreciate you doing that. Just stand in your shadiness. You don't always have to be counselor of the world or therapist of the world or doctor of the world. Just be Mimi. Have fun with us, girl. Dang, get on a space table and have a good time. So, Andy is asking about the comment that Toya, basically the purse, text message, all of that mess when Heavenly had brought up Eugene meat. Baby, when Heavenly had said, baby, when she had brought up her man was from, what she say he was from? Whatever she said, I can't remember. It was funny. That was such a funny, just childish scene because I don't understand like why these two are oil and vinegar like they are. Toya and Heavenly, I feel like if they were just like, be friends and just have a good time and slap five, they would be such a good kiki. But they can never get on the right page. And honestly, Heavenly, it's on you. But Toya, you did get it started with that purse. You got it started with that fake bag comment, and Heavenly just took it all the way left, which she always does. So, listen, y'all gotta stop letting Heavenly get y'all mad. Heavenly is here for a show. This is not her life. This is a show. Heavenly is here for the show, and y'all gotta understand that. Stop letting Heavenly get under y'all skin. Y'all can't do that. Move on from Heavenly. So, they asked Jackie if Toya, because they started talking about the Met Gala, and they was like, "Do you think that you chose Heaven or Toya because of y'all wanted to punish her, or because she was the right person for this event?" And Dr. Jackie, I think she answered it wonderfully. Right? She let it be known yes, when it comes to a party, Toya is that girl. And I've said this before. I don't understand why Toya does not have a company where she does events and she sets, like, I think her name is Ellie. In Atlanta. Toya could be doing stuff like that where she's doing people's weddings and events and birthdays. Like, Toya has a gift and she has a knack for that. Like, she really, really needs to tap into that potential. So she was the right person for it. But also on the flip side, they wanted to show her, hey, look, it's a lot of work that goes into this. And Toya, it was 100% successful. It wouldn't have been as successful as it was without you. So they needed you for that moment. And I think it was good for you to see that they needed you, but it was also good for you to see the hard work that the ladies put into it. So I think that it was a two-way street there, but I think that it was successful and we can all acknowledge that. You did a phenomenal job on that. Now, when Toya had pulled out that lab coat from behind, I don't know where she pulled it from. It kind of fell flat for me. But it was cute. It was a little cute, little funny moment. But overall, it fell flat because we couldn't read what was. If you would have put the coat on, stood up and turned around, maybe we could have got a little bit more. But yeah, it didn't. It didn't really land for me. So next, we jump into Quad's package, and of course, we got to talk about it. Andy is asking her about the king and her breakup, and I think that Quad put on her PR bag when she was answering these questions. She was just like, yes, we decided, all good things come to an end, or sometimes good things come to an end. And, we just weren't aligned on some fundamental values. So we decided to mutually just go our separate ways. And let me tell you this, Quad. You said fundamental values. You said fundamental values, right? But you were trying to have a baby with him. So that, for me, it stood out at that moment. Like, I put that in my notes, like, so y'all fundamentally weren't aligned, but you were trying to have a baby? Okay, cool, whatever. So, they're asking if any of the ladies have been in contact with King. And Contessa was like, well, yeah, but King, did you want him to be here? And she was like, well, hold on, Contessa. Like, girl, I'm not saying I didn't want the man to be here. And then she was like, no, I'm asking, like, did you not want him to be here? And, Toya chimes in and she was like, I've talked to him. He did the whole car thing for my son for his birthday. Him and Eugene are cool. She was like, so we still talk to him. But, he did tell me that he wanted to be here. And I love the way Quad shut that down. Quad let it be known, baby, this is my show. He won't come on my show. We good. We good. That's my past, and it ain't no forward. I'm good. He in my past, baby. He won't be in my future, and he won't be on this show. Have a good day. So I understand her for doing that, because he won't be here for that. He absolutely won't. But I do think it's weird that some of the ladies were still in contact with. I do, but I don't. Like, I can understand. I can get it. Like, once you've hung around, I'm going to be real. No, I don't. Let me not sit here and lie. If one of my girls leave a man, deuces, buddy. I don't know you. If I see you, hey, how you doing? You doing all right? Cool. Don't think you can come up here and sit and eat lunch with me. Don't think me and you gonna catch up. Don't think you're gonna hit me up and be like, hey, you wanna go grab some drinks? No, unless you paying. But no, we ain't doing that. All right. So, they talked to Quad about some people saying that it was a fake relationship, and she gets real hot about this. And I think Heavenly took it as they were saying that she said it was a fake relationship. That's not how I took it. But I think that Quad truly loved him. And especially for her to go through all of those fertility things with him, she truly cared for the man. You can't deny that. And even DrJackie speaks to, a lot of couples break up when they go through these fertility things or trying to do IVF and all of those different things. It can be a big struggle. I've seen people in my real life go through things when it comes to fertility. Goodness gracious, I can't talk. So I can understand it being a struggle and it being a challenge for them to still cultivate their relationship, but try to do all this other stuff on the other side. On top of the emotions, on top of all the hormone changes, on top of everything that she's going through on her own. I can understand it being a lot. But Simone asked the $1 million question when she said, Quad, you and him couldn't get aligned, and she didn't say this, but on the fundamental values or whatever y'all wanted to do. Y'all couldn't get aligned on what house to live in when y'all become one. You couldn't even get it together on the engagement. Why were you wanting to have a child with him? And I think that that's a great question. And I think from Quad's point, I get what she's saying, and she's like, well, I've seen the potential of him. He's a phenomenal father. He's a great co-parent. And Quad, I hate to say this, I'm glad that you didn't have a child with him, because just because you see him being a great co-parent to that one individual doesn't mean that that's how it's going to go for you. You are a different person. You don't know what the situation was with him and that other woman. He might be telling you one side, but you don't know what her side is, or you don't know what it's like, because she has this child all the time. And it might not work out the way that you think it is going to work out. So I'm glad that you didn't. I think you kind of dodged your bullet, because I think that, and I love when Contessa was saying this, it seemed like he was kind of out of that relationship before you were. You seemed to really care about him still, and he seemed to kind of been just like acquiescing to a lot of the things that you wanted. That's how it came off. When it came to that relationship. So I do gotta put that out there, girl. I think that you truly dodged the bullet when it came to that. So we see the newbies walk out. It's really, really, really cool. Child, I'm going to jump right onto it. Baby, when Brandy had to get Contessa together, I said, sign her up for next season. Sign her up for next season, because she got Contessa together as she rightfully should. Contessa, you were wrong the way that you did that girl on her birthday. And I'm glad you apologized. You apologized. But I think that you were trying to make it seem like at first, like, well, I don't even know how my situation even came up with my husband. You were bringing it up like, oh, we congratulating somebody just doing a dinner. You were real nasty, Contessa. So I do appreciate you for apologizing. And Brandy was well within her right for checking you 100%. So, other newbie, Angel. I think Angel's statement on being beautiful, but then still have brains and beauty, I think that was a great statement that she put. I really liked her. I've always liked her. Even when she was on Basketball Wives, I thought that she was a great addition there, and I think that she's a good addition here. And I would like to see more of Angel too. So great additions to the show. Really like both of them. Really, really do. All right, so I'm gonna skip that. Let's go ahead and talk about Mimi package. Let's talk about the Mimi package. So Mimi talks about, being a mom of a special needs child, and, my heart goes out to her and her husband. And she also talks about psychoanalyzing her friends. I agree with Quad when Quad has said, hey, Mimi, we understand that, but girl, you got to take that hat off and just be our friend sometimes. And Mimi, that's the thing. I understand that this is how you show up and you don't like to see people fighting. Probably, honestly, because of your profession, right? So I can understand that you are probably always in that space. But I think it comes off like this. Like, we're having a good time. A fight happens. It seems like you do this. And you start assigning different things to different people. And we're not asking you to do that. We just want you to be our homegirl and have a good time. That's all the people are wanting from you, Mimi. Just to have a good time. And Toya brings up how you handled, the Brandy and aligning herself with certain people comment. And, Mimi, you got to stand in it. Just again, stand in it when you have done wrong. Now, I'm going to say this. When it comes to Toya and Heavenly, the way y'all was getting on my nerves and not allowing people to just have an opinion and state what it is that they needed to state. I understand that y'all wanted to get y'all's points in, but it was overload. Like, I really wanted them to tell y'all, just get off the stage for a minute, because they couldn't have conversations without y'all commenting on everything. Like, everything was not for y'all to comment. Mimi is over here trying to apologize to Brandy, and Toya is just constantly having something to say. Like, Andy had to tell her, like, can you let people get this out? Like, it was overload when it came to Toya and Heavenly. Like, both of them did way too much. Every comment, every situation didn't need a message from y'all. It didn't. Like, it was so distracting, and it took a lot from a lot of people trying to find, like, or get on solid ground. Luckily, Brandon was able to be like, hey, girl, I just wanted to just talk about the way you delivered the situation. I really have an issue with you, and they are able to move forward and be cool. And I think when it comes to Toya and Mimi, I really feel like their issues aren't that deep. Like, when Mimi was talking about, dealing with her son and, God chose her. Ooh, that was such a beautiful moment. Talking about God chose her to be that child's parent. I thought that was beautifully said. And I love when Toya was able to pour into her. So there's something there to where y'all can become friends. And we would love to see that. But y'all need to have that sit down, and y'all truly need to work on y'all's issues, because y'all just don't know each other enough for there to be any strife like the way it is. Like, it's not that deep between y'all, and I really want y'all to sit down, figure that out, so that y'all can move forward. But Toya and Heavenly, y'all need to hush because y'all really was working my nerves. Like, y'all owe y'all castmates an apology for that. And Mimi, girl, let your head down and have a good time with the girls. So, child, Andy was like, this is a good time for us to end things. Y'all did a great thing. So the ladies go off to the side, and we see the men are arriving to the situation, child. And when I tell y'all, they could have sent the ladies home for the whole second part of this, because the way the man was in there cutting up and acting a plum fool, y'all gonna get another 30 minutes out of me. This is gonna be an hour-long review. When I tell you the way the man was back in that thing, getting it started, baby, where is Peter? Where is Patricia, baby? Because y'all need to have Peter Thomas coming in and join them the way they was in there carrying on. Baby, when I tell you, it was so good. So, when Steve and Eugene started getting into it, baby, I was weak. And in my opinion, I'm going to say this. Eugene, you are missing the point of what the issue is. Like, Cecil was saying, like, hey, look, I'm not saying nobody's wrong, right, or whatever. But if y'all didn't tell him about the tickets, we need to acknowledge that. Like, he didn't know. If he didn't know, he didn't know. And that's the part that Eugene is missing. And the way that you and Toya handled the ticket situation was wrong. All right. And here's where the issue is with the whole ticket thing. Because I don't think that Eugene is getting it. The issue is, Eugene, I understand you are saying that people were giving pushback to Toya when she was in Jamaica. Steve simply said to you, because what Steve said, because you was like, she tried to get people included, people didn't want to do it. Steve said this to you, my brother. Hey, I don't like the way that Mimi was excluded from this, so we will not be participating. That was for the donation part of it. Because I get where he coming from. You don't want anything from me. Y'all have not included me in anything, but you want me to donate? You want me to pay for it, but you don't want to include me in it? No. Like, y'all didn't include my wife in any of this. Now, if it would have been like a Brandon Angel situation and like they're just not getting on it. This is Mimi's second year. They bought a $5,000 bowl. Like, y'all could have, and that's the part that Toya and Eugene are missing. Like, I understand that Toya really wanted to do a big one, but you should have communicated effectively through that process, because this is what happens. And Eugene, that's what he's trying to tell you. That's what these men are trying to tell you. You're asking us for money, but y'all don't want to tell us what the money is for. Life don't work like that. So that's why he didn't want to do it. The issue was never him buying a ticket. The issue was y'all didn't communicate that he needed to buy a ticket. And he would have participated if you would have included his wife. That's the part that y'all are missing. And so when you said the negative behavior, he was like, Steve was like, no, you justify negative behavior every day with Toya. And baby, Eugene was like, don't mention my wife, girl. They got the cussing and carrying on. And let me tell y'all something. Steve was getting him together because Eugene got the cussing and Steve got the point, and then Eugene was like, don't point at me. Boom. Baby, one thing, listen, I hate to say this. I'm growing. I have been working on this since I came out my mama's womb. Baby, I tell people, once I get hot like that, like Steve was, I act just like Steve was in a situation. You tell me not to point, baby, I'm going to point both hands. I'm going to point it all. Because at that point, I don't care. I don't care. And that's what you don't want. And Steve had hit that point where he didn't care no more, so he had to get you together. He was like, do you want to be out there with the women's? I think that both of y'all wanted to be out there the women's the way that y'all was cutting up and carrying on, and I wouldn't have been mad. I would have said, Mimi, baby, you can go back there and sit with Curtis and them. Toya, you sit down, because you like to get it started too, so Toya would want to stay, but Mimi, you can just go and do a couple of sessions. Let Steve get out here and get it together. Baby, when I tell y'all, they had it going on. Baby, and then when Curtis had leaned over here and said, all right, he ain't gonna own nothing. Talking about Eugene. Steve, he ain't gonna own nothing. No way. Baby. Eugene. This next episode when the men's come on the couch, baby, I know they finna tear you up because Eugene, the only person you don't have any issue with is Sky and Cecil. Because Damon had to give you a little piece, because I feel like you gonna have something for Damon. He gonna probably give you a little piece. Curtis definitely finna give you a whole lot of pieces. And Steve been tearing you up since he got there. Baby, I am living for the men, baby. It was good to me. The men definitely had it going on. But Curtis had me shocked when he said something to Eugene. Eugene ain't even say nothing back. Eugene just over there with his glasses just pitiful and defeated. But Eugene, I do want to say this. You do this thing and it annoys me. I cannot stand when he's passive aggressive, like, oh, you felt that way, I apologize. I cannot stand that. I cannot stand that. If you don't mean your apology, then just keep it. Just keep it. Do not apologize to me if you don't mean it, if you're not gonna own it. So that irks my nerves there. But definitely the men, bring y'all on. If y'all don't bring back the wives, just make sure y'all bring this whole group back of men, because the men had it going on. Where's Brandy's husband? Did he not make it? I just realized he wasn't there at all. But he wasn't really on the season, so I don't know. He probably had something going on. Alright, so we get to Heavenly package. We get to the Dr. Heavenly package of it all, and I love the game that they played with Dr. Heavenly. I think that the game was really, really cute, and I don't think the ladies told a single lie. She do need help in the fashion department. Do we think that she'll make a good politician? Do she share her business with her family? Absolutely not. She don't share her truths with her, and we definitely get into it, because let me tell you something. If I ever doubted Heavenly getting into office, the way she answered that question about her son, baby, send the lady to the White House. She is the Condoleezza Rice of Married to Medicine. When I tell you Dr. Heavenly answered that question so political and so beautiful, baby, Heavenly, they said, well, what happened with your son? Hands her a tissue. Baby, she said, my son had a mental health emergency. I said, when Heavenly had said that, I said, girl, she did that. She did doggone that. She said, he was in treatment. Heavenly did that so good, baby. The people couldn't even say nothing. Because I know Simone, Toya, all them was ready to get them. When she said that, they said, doggone, we can't say nothing to this. We can't say nothing. Because she did that. She did the doggone thing. And I do feel bad that Damon didn't share with her what was really going on. And she said, I'm blessed. A lot of what happens is, those people who do have mental health issues, instead of them getting the treatment that they need, they end up in jail. And a lot of people are in jail for that. So that's a good thing for her to speak to when she is doing her campaign, because it does happen. I do think that Damon should have shared with her, or I think that we need to see if they do come back, if she doesn't make, I don't know, if she comes back. We need to see them in counseling talking about why he felt like he couldn't share that. We really need to unpack that, because that's kind of big. And it could have been that he felt like she would have fly off the handle. I think he kind of said that, but that's kind of a big deal there. But, Heavenly talks about not putting her family on blast, and then baby Simone's chimed in and she said, baby, just so you know, Heavenly, I don't bring up my family, just bring up drama when it happens. I bring up what goes on in our real lives. And, she said, me and Caesar have been married for longer than you have. We married for love. We didn't have to get married because I got pregnant. Girl. Another point, Simone. We got to give Simone these things, because Simone was doing the doggone thing, this doggone reunion. I was sitting here thinking, like, who is my MVP of the reunion? I want to say Simone and then Steve, baby. Simone and Steve are my top twos, because they definitely had it going on. But they were asking the people who vote for her, child, please. Half the people in her district no way, so they can't vote for her. But let's talk about DrJackie, Dr. Simone, and Dr. Heavenly. DrJackie finds herself back in the middle of their drama. So she's back in the middle of their drama. And I'm going to speak to what I think was kind of going through DrJackie's head when all of this happened. I think that DrJackie was like, oh, it'll blow over like it's done in the past. I think DrJackie was approaching like, girl, it'll blow over. Like, they've been here before. I'm not going to choose a side. I'm going to ride the fence because it ain't that deep. I think that was DrJackie's approach. I think that DrJackie knows, and everybody knows, Dr. Simone is loud. She's boisterous. She will cause a ruckus and she will cause a scene. Oh, I just thought about something. She'll cause a ruckus and she'll cause a scene, but we don't necessarily feel her we don't see her getting physical. We don't think that that's something that will happen. I think with Jackie, the reason Jackie just chose to not say anything is because she didn't want to take one side and make the other friend mad. So she just rolled the side of like, hey, I wasn't necessarily there. And I think that both ladies have a different perspective of what happened. Realistically, y'all, they really do. So Jackie didn't say anything wrong. I think that Jackie just didn't truly answer Andy's question when it was on Watch What Happens Live. Andy's question was, do you think that Simone was going to get physical or whatever with Dr. Heavenly? She should have just said no. She should have said that. But instead, she thought that it was going to be one of those situations like, hey, let me just give this answer. It happens. It happens a lot when it comes to reality TV. Like, Atlanta Housewives have had this. Potomac has had this, where people just don't give the best answer because they think like, oh, if I don't necessarily give an answer, it kind of leaves me hands-free. But that's where the issue is for Simone. Simone wanted her friend to sit up here and say at that moment, hey, girl, she was wrong. Simone did not put her hands on her in that moment. Now, if we want to be technical, Simone did say, girl, I don't want this girl on me, go ahead. But there was nothing threatening about that in that moment because you know your friend, Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly, you are manipulating the situation because you are like, well, it was a heightened, we were in an argument. And I can agree, like when you're in an argument, try not to touch people because it takes it to another level. And it could have gone further, but Heavenly, it did not. It didn't. It didn't. Like Heavenly, at the end of the day, it just didn't. She would not have gotten physical with you. But Simone, I'm going to say this to you too. You are wanting people to have more care for your license than you. You have your license. Heavenly has her license. DrJackie has hers. There are other women who have their licenses as well. You have to guard that because that's your livelihood. If you lose your license, they still have theirs, love. It's your responsibility to make sure that you are upholding the oath that you took when you had your license. I'm not saying that what you did was wrong, but Simone, it is your responsibility. Simone, I'm not saying that Heavenly is right in this moment because I don't think she is. I think Heavenly is wrong. But Simone, you still played a part in this as well. And I think that's the thing where I feel like Jackie is just like, girl, like, y'all got here. This ain't have nothing to do with me, and it doesn't have anything to do with her. And I feel like everybody keeps putting Jackie's feet to the fire. It is not Jackie's responsibility to sit up here and make sure these two grown people are sitting up here getting along, figuring out what they need to figure out. That is their responsibility, and they need to figure it out. Here's the thing, though, Dr. Simone, and you said that DrJackie normally is the one to calm you down. She tried to do that, and she did have that conversation with you. Simone, you have had several situations. You and Toya almost got physical. A couple of reunions, like several seasons ago, when y'all was in the dressing room and Toya had walked back in, and y'all was almost got physical. So that was one. There was a situation where you and Quad at the reunion. That was another one. You and Heavenly at the thing. I don't think that you were going to get physical with her at all, but you got into it with Quad. You got into it with Angel. You were getting into it with everybody. So you were heightened. You were heightened in that moment. So, you are wanting Jackie to say something, and I can get it. She can say something, but at the end of the day, Simone, you need to put some mechanisms in place to make you not react to people the way that you do. Because if you know that these people are trigger points for you, you need to put something in place to make it not happen. Because Heavenly is going to push your buttons. She's been doing it since season 2. Like, what are y'all not getting about this? And Simone, my thing is too, you play the game too. You just do it in a different way. Now, I'm not saying, once again, I do not agree with what Heavenly is doing. I don't think that Heavenly is right. But Simone, I think that you have to own your part and you have to realize it's your license. It's your livelihood. It's up to you to make sure that things go the way that they're supposed to go. So, child, that's where we're going to end part 1 of the reunion. I think it was such a phenomenal reunion. I cannot wait for part 2. But don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share with the family member, share with a friend. And let me know what your thoughts are on the Jackie and Simone situation. DrJackie, Dr. Simone, and Dr. Heavenly situation. And just how y'all felt about the reunion in general. But until next time, have a good one, everybody.